Hello, hope you're all well. Today I wanted to talk about another fantastic book. Again, it's a short book and it was written over 100 years ago by Joseph Benner, and it is called The Way Out. I first listened on audiobook about 3 years ago, and I found it a very, very practical guide to transforming your consciousness, transforming your reality, basically using the law of consciousness to be in control of your reality and to see how using your consciousness, transforming yourself from the inside out, will result in changes in the outside world. Almost like a practical demonstration of spirituality, a practical demonstration of the law of consciousness and the law of belief and all of that sort of stuff. So this, I've found, out of everything that I've read and I've listened to quite a lot of books, I would say if you're struggling with this concept or you want a bit more clarity on how do I exactly make practical changes in my consciousness and see them outpictured in my world, how does it actually all work, this is the number one instruction manual, I would say. It is actually written pretty much like an instruction manual. It's very clear, it's very concise, it gives you exact instructions for what to do, and those instructions are basically believe the highest. That is it. In if I could summarize the book in a nutshell, it says believe the highest, think the highest, speak the highest, at all times, regardless of appearances. And then you will see appearances change. Joseph Benner talks about, he uses the word God, and he talks about the fact that until you can begin to study your mind and realize that what you're holding in your consciousness is actually what's manifested in your reality, that you realize that you're the creator of it all, and that God, Christ, is the consciousness. That's what it is. So when we talk about God and Christ, it's about holding that highest vibration in consciousness, holding that love in consciousness. It's about what we're holding in our mind, what we're saying to ourselves, what we're impressing ourselves with over and over again. So he says that it doesn't really matter about what the circumstances are, it's what you're believing about the circumstances. He says until you refuse those negative beliefs, you'll just experience the same things. So he uses an example of a person that thought that they were going to be dismissed from work, and then they kept entertaining a mental picture of that, kept talking about it, basically started to form the belief about it, and it eventually happened. He says that it is about knowing that whatever you think and hold in consciousness will manifest in your life, especially those related to self. And he quotes from the Bible, so seek ye first the kingdom. He talks about, it's about being the kingdom, and all things will be added unto you. So the kingdom is where we think the highest thoughts. That's what the kingdom is. Seek first the kingdom. What is the kingdom? What is the kingdom? The kingdom is what the highest form of love would be from the perspective of self. That we're loved, that we're cherished, that we're cared for, that we're protected, that all the good things that, the creator or whatever, or our consciousness, whoever, divine, source, spirit, whatever you would like to say, higher self, is guiding us, protecting us, loving us, wants good things for us. He says, let in no thoughts that you would not want to manifest. Don't entertain those thoughts. And he says, well, if you've been, having a bit of a bad time, he says, well, you've exhausted all the forces of your of yourself. He said, think only those thoughts of the highest. Speak only what they would say. Do only what they would do. Believe in the highest regardless of appearances. Only and always, and pay no more attention to appearances, because this is the past thinking. This is what our consciousness has been previously focusing on, and then it's manifesting outwards into our world. He said it's not what you see as conditions, it is what you believe as so. And you can say over and over, God loves me, loves and cares for me, and has given me all things. I love him and think his thoughts and do all things he wants me to do. And you could replace this and you could just say, divine love is always there, caring for me, wanting good things for me. Love is all there is. Divine love fills my consciousness, and I am guided by the highest form of love. And he talks about building a perfect picture in your mind. Make it clear and distinct, and holding on to that perfect picture, because I'm sure you know a lot of things that we are focusing on or talking about, or our beliefs, they're kind of shaped unconsciously, subconsciously. They're shaped from things that we see, things that we read. We're creating mental pictures all the time. We're creating pictures of things are going really bad, or we're creating pictures of, the world's, in a bad shape, or whatever it might be. We're picturing all the time. And when we're picturing and when we're feeding beliefs into our mind, we are creating our reality. We are the creators of our reality. Our consciousness creates reality. Consciousness is the only one reality, and this is the law amongst all teachers. Neville, Florence, Christian D. Larson. Consciousness is the one and only reality. And it may look like we have an inner and outer, but they're actually just one. And so he talks about building a perfect picture in your mind, making it clear and distinct, and the importance of being positive. He says, basically your mind is like a radio. So whatever frequency you're broadcasting on, you're tuning yourself, and you are essentially creating those circumstances through your thoughts, the pictures, mental pictures, and your beliefs. He says, always be positive in thinking, speaking, and doing. And maybe you're not positive because you think, well, my reality isn't positive. Why should I be positive? But again, that's Joseph Benner would say, that's a misinterpretation of the law. You're thinking that reality, the outside world, is the former, the primary, and it's not. Consciousness is primary. Consciousness is primary. Consciousness is the cause. So when we try and change things in the external without going into our consciousness and changing things, it's almost futile. And that's what Joseph Benner says. You've probably exhausted all your resources of self. You're at a place where nothing you've done is working. You praying maybe to God. You're saying, what's going on? Why am I not getting it the way that I want to get it? And he says, examine your beliefs and the words that you're saying to yourselves and the pictures that you're holding in mind, and how your self-concept is, whether it can be the highest possible version of you. And it's about holding that kingdom, the kingdom of Christ consciousness, of divinity, love, regardless of appearances. knowing that the kingdom is all good, that mode of consciousness is all good regardless of appearances. And it can be sometimes, I guess, easy to let the outside world rock us or destabilize us because we start to get attached to the things of the world. But to go back to our consciousness, Joseph Benner says, it is about saying over and over and obeying exactly this law, that it is not what you see as conditions, it is what you believe is so. And knowing that he said that we put God's thoughts, feelings and beliefs above everything. So God is love, so we put love above everything. We put divine love above everything. We see ourselves in divine love. We think thoughts of divine love. The pictures in our minds are created from love. The way that we hold and carry ourselves, the way that we speak is from love. Regardless of what happens in our external world, we say to ourselves, this is all love. And then things will change and we'll start to become into a harmony of mind and a harmony with our world, because the inner and outer are one. I hope this helps. Let me know what you think of the audiobook. I will link to it below.